So, what if a nation's most celebrated hero was also one of the world's most wanted criminals? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But today, we're going to unravel the very real story of Chen Zhi, a man who is, on one hand, a decorated tycoon advising a prime minister, and on the other, an alleged crime boss running a multi-billion-dollar empire. To even begin to understand how one person can live two such different lives, we've got to explore both worlds he's built.
And this is really the heart of the puzzle with Chen Zhi. Look at this. On one side, you have honored tycoon, philanthropist, prime minister's advisor. On the other side, crime boss, money launderer, human trafficker. How can one guy be both of these things at once? Let's start by looking at the man the public sees.
All right, so first up, let's dive into the man that Cambodia celebrates, the respected businessman who's seemingly built a massive corporate empire from the ground up. Chen Zhi pretty much appeared out of nowhere in Cambodia's capital, Phnom Penh, around 2015. And in what feels like the blink of an eye, he establishes the Prince Group. This thing didn't just grow, it exploded, quickly becoming one of the country's biggest and most influential business conglomerates. I mean, the Prince Group's reach is just immense. It's got its hands in everything: real estate, finance, you name it, even tons of consumer goods. His businesses aren't just in the Cambodian economy. In a lot of ways, they are a core part of its modern infrastructure. That makes him an incredibly powerful, almost indispensable figure. So how does someone become so powerful, so incredibly fast? Well, in Cambodia, it helps to start with a very special and very expensive title. Chen Zhi holds this prestigious title, Nik Ok Nha. Now, this isn't just some honorary certificate you hang on the wall. It's a massive status symbol, and you get it by making huge donations to the state. We're talking millions of dollars. It's a system that effectively lets you buy a seat at the table with Cambodia's most powerful people. And that seat at the table, it's at the absolute highest level. Chen Zhi has actually served as an advisor to the current Prime Minister, Hun Manet. And he was known to be a trusted figure by his father, the former long-serving Prime Minister, Hun Sen. You see, these aren't just business connections. This is direct access to the very peak of political power. But you know, that's only half the story, because international law enforcement agencies, they paint a completely different picture, one that is just a shocking departure from his public image. The U.S. Department of Justice really doesn't mince words. They've straight up labeled Chen Zhi as the alleged leader of a massive, sprawling, transnational criminal network. This right here is the official start of his second identity, the international fugitive. Just look at this number for a second. $15 billion. That is the staggering amount U.S. authorities allege Chen Zhi and his network have laundered. It's a sum so vast, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around it. And you might be wondering, how do you even move that much money around? Well, according to the indictment, almost the entire fortune was funneled through Bitcoin. They allegedly used the anonymity and the borderless nature of crypto to hide a criminal enterprise on a truly global scale. But honestly, the accusations go way beyond just financial crime. They detail a brutal system of human exploitation with thousands of victims. It's a system often referred to as scam camps. And this was not a small, localized operation. The network allegedly lured its victims from all over the world. We're talking neighboring countries like China, Vietnam, and Thailand, but also from nations all the way across Africa. All of them promised legitimate, high-paying jobs. But what happened when they arrived was a total nightmare. First, their passports were seized. They were held captive and then forced to work, running these really sophisticated online financial scams targeting people all over the globe. And if they didn't meet their cruel quotas, the punishment was severe, from brutal beatings to being literally sold like property to other criminal groups. So, with such incredibly serious allegations from international bodies like the U.S. Department of Justice, you'd expect some kind of swift action, right? Well, the response has created a really tense geopolitical situation. The international response has been pretty decisive. Both the United States and the United Kingdom issued arrest warrants. They imposed sanctions and froze assets connected to Chen Zhi. But the Cambodian government's response? It's been far more cautious. They basically say they're willing to cooperate, but that there just isn't enough hard evidence yet to act. So why the hesitation? Well, a lot of analysts believe it's because a full-blown investigation would be almost impossible without implicating some very powerful people. It would inevitably touch upon sensitive relationships at the highest levels of the Cambodian establishment.
The exact same relationships Chen Zhi spent years and millions of dollars building. And all of that leaves us with this central, unanswered question at the heart of this entire story. Chen Zhi exists at this bizarre intersection of immense wealth, political power, and incredibly grave international criminal accusations. It's a case that forces us to ask a really fundamental question. In a world like this, when justice confronts